Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's Happy Friday. I'm coming to you here from Tallinn, Connecticut. I am Megan West, the CEO of CNC Software, makers of Mastercam, and what an opportunity. Like I said, we're here in Tallinn, Connecticut, but I feel humbled and honored to be able to have the opportunity to reach out to all of you and get a chance to connect. It's been a kind of crazy year, obviously. We've all gone through so much change. And the topic today, adapting and thriving in a changing world. So let's adapt, let's change, let's figure out how to thrive through this. So I just want to say, bear with me. This is the first time that we've done this live virtual setup the way that we've got it here today. I'm used to having this recorded, so hopefully we do well here. So what have we done to adapt? Well, back in March, everything kind of changed and we were forced to do things so much differently. So the first couple months, we got the entire company, we really are a family. We got us all working remotely. And that transition happened absolutely seamlessly. It was maybe 3 days of change and everybody was working from home, healthy, safe, and productive. And it's been fabulous since then. We've been able to open the office up for a few of our employees, the people that work in the shop, our video team, the people that really rely on the building to be able to get their job done. But aside from that, everybody else is still working from home and still very much engaged and connected to the company. It's been fantastic. So we've got remote working. What else did we need to do? Well, initially, when March hit, we were getting ready for a bunch of training camps and a bunch of different trade shows and just opportunities to see you guys face to face. Well, without that opportunity, we had to figure out a way to still make sure that we were providing that value and making sure that we were continuing progress. So everything was moved virtual. All of our training camps were put online. And our team did a wonderful job of taking that content and figuring out a way to be able to deliver that to you over the web. We had to show up where you guys were, and that was behind the computer. And what an amazing event that they were able to put on. I'm incredibly proud of how quick they were able to make that change. So we've got training, we've got remote working, we're continuing to build the best software in the CAM industry. And now we've got to make sure that we're still connecting with all of our partners, still connecting with our resellers, still connecting with you. One of the things that we've done just recently is partner with Titan to do a virtual trade show. Obviously, September is a big month for industry, particularly in the United States. And this year, we kind of missed out on an opportunity to see everybody at IMTS. So we wanted to make sure that we still were able to show up and still able to make you guys feel like you're part of the family. And so that trade show was something that we were really excited to do. And it was wonderful to see how many people showed up and was able to connect and engage with us. We've also been doing dynamic thinking webinars. Every Wednesday at 11 a.m., we do a webinar, and these are tips and tricks. There are different ways to allow you to understand different ways to work with Mastercam more effectively, more efficiently. It's all about getting the job done right, getting the job done fast. And we've got our product owners and applications engineers on the web giving you these tips and tricks. And the best part about it is that you can ask them questions live. You get that interaction, that direct feedback, and what an incredible resource. And we're so proud to be able to offer that to everybody. After that webinar is done, it is recorded and it's posted to all of our social media accounts. So a quick plug here, make sure that you guys are connected to all of those social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram. These are wonderful ways to be able to use the resource that is probably our biggest asset, and that's the community. Being the most widely used CAM system in the world means that we also have the largest user base. And that user base is there to help you get your job done. Whether it's users, whether it's resellers, whether it's partners or us, we're here to make sure that your questions get answered and you're able to get the job done. So That being said, we also need to continue to interact and make sure that we are getting that input and feedback from you so that we can continue to guide the product. We need to hear from you so that we know what features you guys are looking for. What are the obstacles that you guys are facing? How can we make sure to improve the user experience so that you guys don't just use the software, that you're wowed with the software? That's our intent every single time. And so we've got the public beta program, we have the customer feedback program, we've got forums. These are all ways for you to interact. And we've got our team, they're gonna put a link up for you guys in the chat so that you can click on that and you know exactly where to go to get that information. Also, as we're going here, if you have any questions that you want me to answer or anything that you've got thoughts or just want to put out there, please put that in the chat as we're going. At the end of this, I'll make sure to do my best to answer those questions. Okay, so we've adapted, right? We've gone remote, we've gone, we've done all these virtual trainings, we're figuring out ways to connect, taking those missed opportunities and turning them into something valuable. So how do we thrive? Okay, I'm gonna get real with you guys. When this first hit, I was not thriving. I, was used to coming into the office, getting a chance to see everybody every day. My children were going to school. They were taken care of through the day. It wasn't something I had to really think about. And all of a sudden, I'm working from home. I've got 2 kids that are now doing school from home, and they required a lot of attention, and I had to make sure that we were doing everything that we could to all get through it together. So I took a moment, leaned into that discomfort, allowed myself to feel it, and then I changed perspective. Instead of what is this doing to me, I looked at it and said, what are the opportunities that this is providing? I got an awesome chance to spend more time with my children, and I would not give that back for the world. It was absolutely amazing. And they didn't skip a beat. They're back in school, things are going well. But the whole rest of the world was disrupted. And I looked at that as an opportunity. How do we take advantage of this disruption and make sure that when we get to the other side of it, we're better than we were before? So I think part of this is about that attitude. It's not about what are the obstacles, it's what are the opportunities? How do we turn this into something great? And the other piece of that is that you have to expect change, particularly in an industry like this. We've got technology that is moving so fast. We've got global pandemics that we now have to consider and think about. We've got a million different external forces that are coming at us, and the only constant is change. So I think making sure that that's in the front of your mind, okay, how do I create a culture and an environment where we embrace change, where we adapt, and where we're already prepped for some of this change? So for example, we had embraced the remote workforce well before this came into play. So those 3 days of transition, that would have been so much longer if we hadn't had the tools, the processes, and the mindset in place. Those were 3 of the biggest things that contributed to the success of that transition. And again, it's all about the people. They did a phenomenal job. Everybody did their part to make sure that it was successful. How else do we thrive? Well, like I said, lean into it. Spend a minute to understand what's happening, but then figure out how to adjust. And our customers, you guys did an amazing job with that. We had customers that were in the aerospace industry. They made the shift to medical like that. We had customers, we had resellers that all of a sudden, they're making face shields, they're making masks, they're making parts for ventilators that are going to help save people's lives. And man, if that pride doesn't spur you to take action, I don't know what will. I mean, that to me was something that really drove me. That gave me purpose. And I think that's probably the last piece of it is find your purpose. Find what's going to drive you to do something better. Find what's going to drive you to make positive change out of the things that are thrown at you. Because this isn't going to be the last time that things change. This isn't going to be the last time that, the world goes through something. And so if we're prepared for that, we can really turn this into something great. And that's what we're focusing on here. What do we have control over? What can we make better? And how do we get through this on the other side? So that's kind of where we're at. I'd love to hear if you guys have some questions or some thoughts and I'd love to hear what you guys are doing. How are you adapting? How are you thriving in a changing world? Okay, we got a question. That's great. The transition to remote work was seamless. Were there any other obstacles you didn't foresee? It's an excellent question. I think with this particular change, it was so much more just It wasn't just a work situation, and it wasn't, us going through this individually. It was the entire world was changing. So I thought a lot about our employees and their mindset and how they were feeling through the entire thing. And from the very beginning, my mantra was people first, that the business is going to get to where it needs to be. We will thrive through this. We are a critical piece of the world. Manufacturing doesn't stop. So for me, it was really about making sure that my employees were safe, that they were healthy, both physically and mentally. And so I spent a lot of time reaching out to each and every one of them to say, how are you doing? Not just with the transition to remote, but how are you doing in general? It's about giving them that outlet and giving them an opportunity to let you know if they need help, and really understanding that we are a team. And it's interesting, I think manufacturing is so much like that. It's so not transactional, it's about the relationship. When we get a new customer, we get another member of the family. We get somebody that's going to be with us for years to come. And whether that's they need support or training or they just want to connect, that's really what this industry was built on. And so I try to make sure that that's the attitude that I use internally as well as externally. So another question, what are some ways that your customers have adapted? Well, like I said, a lot of them have made the shift. They've been in an industry where there was a hit. And so they looked at opportunities. Again, like I said, manufacturing is here to stay. That's something that, it makes the world go round. So if something is taking a hit, something else is growing. So it's all about, instead of focusing on, the fact that you don't have parts to make for this industry, let's figure out what the opportunities are. Let's make that shift. Let's figure out how we can use our skills and adapt them to where the need is. We've got a comment. Okay, we've gone to all virtual training and we've had great success with that. I love that. That's fantastic. And I think the great thing about that is virtual creates so many fewer limitations. We are no longer limited by location. We aren't limited by size. We have an opportunity to reach so many more people. And the best part is that when it's recorded and delivered, you guys have an opportunity to go back and review everything that was gone through, which for me is a wonderful way to learn. If I have a way to review and go back and really understand the points that were made throughout the training, I get through it so much better. So that to me is a wonderful way to do this. Let's see. We've got another comment from Mr. Wakeford. I think there were a lot of positive changes. Which changes do you think will be permanent versus temporary? Okay, I'm certainly not, I don't have a crystal ball, but that being said, like I said, I think there's so many positives to doing things virtually, particularly when you've got training where somebody has already got the basics, they've got the foundation, they understand how to use the software, kind of that advanced training where it's taking that to the next level. I think that's a wonderful opportunity for us to continue to do that virtually. I also think these virtual user events, different ways to connect, again, we get to be in front of so many more people than having to be in one location, and now you've got to take a flight, or you have to drive, or you have to take a lot more time off work to be able to make that connection. So I do think that those are going to be some permanent changes. That being said, I thrive off of that face-to-face communication, and I know so many of you do as well. So it's going to be important to us to find those valuable moments and those critical times where we're still able to have that face-to-face communication. And again, the best part about Mastercam is its community. So no matter where you are located in the world, you have other end users, you have resellers, you have partners that are there in a driving distance to be able to connect with at any time. We've got another question. Do you still see a need for in-person meetings and events, or is web video going to be the norm? So yeah, like I said, I think there's going to be a hybrid approach. I think there's going to be more effort put into understanding the value of whether it needs to be face-to-face or whether it can be done virtually. I think there's going to be a lot of times where we say, you know what, a virtual meeting is completely acceptable for this. But there's also going to be those times where, it's going to be a great opportunity to meet face-to-face. It's those relationships, it's making sure that we still stay connected as a family. Okay, another question. Are you experiencing more demand for the software? Is it more domestic or global? So that's a great question. And when this all hit, we had no idea what the impact was going to be to manufacturing. We had to look at revenue forecasts very conservatively, but making sure that we were still doing everything that we could to get the software out on time, which we did, and make sure that it was a high quality piece of software so that you guys were able to do your jobs. And demand has not dropped. We are continuing to see growth in the industry. We are continuing to see new customers buying our software, which is fantastic. I think the biggest change is that people are looking at automation as a way to increase their competitive advantage. And we're in the best industry for that. And so we've seen that with our partners as well. Different partners that are focusing on automation are seeing a huge increase in demand. And that's wonderful. To me, that means that you guys are out there, you're trying to figure out how to get through this better than you were before. What are the ways that I can improve my process? What are the ways that I can manufacture more effectively, efficiently, and for lower cost? And that's what's going to put us in a great position to get through this. Okay, we are teaching Mastercam remotely to our engineering students. Do you have any machine simulations already set up that the students can use to run their programs virtually on? Currently, they are just using the Verify feature. That's another excellent question, and I'm going to defer that to our educational team. I know that we've got a lot of things that we're focusing on in terms of education. Historically, the educational market is one that is not just important to us. We look at it as it's our responsibility to be there. It's our responsibility to make sure that that next generation is getting exposed to manufacturing, that they're getting the training that they need. And that's a way for us to support industry as well. So it's a wonderful cycle that we're incredibly proud to be part of. So that's an excellent question. I will make sure that that's something that we're focusing on, and we will certainly get back to you with more information on that. Okay, another question. Pre-COVID studies have already shown that productivity, we need to scroll a little bit more, can actually increase with remote working, but creativity can suffer. Do you have any ideas on how to encourage collaboration and creativity? I do, actually. And you're absolutely right. Productivity can increase dramatically. And we've seen that. We've seen a lot of our employees that they're just more productive when they're at home. That being said, there are certain other employees that, they really thrive on that social interaction, and that's where they get a lot of that creativity from. One of the ways that we've been able to combat that, and I'm not going to give you any studies that say that we've been able to prove that it increases creativity or productivity, but just instinctively, what we've done is really focus on making sure that we have a way to connect with our employees on not just a work level. And so we've done things like we're all hiking the Appalachian Trail together. We're hiking the Route 66 trail together. And that's just everybody logs their activity that they're doing at home, and that creates miles, and we work through that together. We have a trivia session Fridays at 4 o'clock where the company joins in and they go through a fun trivia game. We did a company picnic virtually. We sent out towels to all the employees, and we had a fun virtual session for people to connect. And I think that's part of it, is that understanding that we aren't just a team of people doing a job, we're a team of people getting through this whole experience together. It's not just business, it's personal as well. And if you focus on that and you allow people to bring in these other sides of who they are, I think that creativity can really stem from that. I know me personally, I get some of my best ideas when I'm on the trail, I'm going for a run, I'm not even behind the computer. And so if we can find ways for our employees to do that as well, that's our best chance. Shout out to the Western U.S. Territory Manager for being so responsive during this time. Have you noticed a decrease in productivity from employees, or has it remained stable? First, thank you so much for that shout out. I completely agree. Mike Bebout has just been an absolute rock star. He's a fabulous addition to our family, and we're so lucky to have him. And I appreciate the fact that he's been so responsive. That's certainly our goal. We want to make sure that the experience that you have with us is top notch, because that's what it's really all about. It's that experience, it's that connection. And so like I said, I think there's been a lot of increased productivity. I understand again that this is such a personal and such an interesting time, and there are some people that are going to respond to it differently. And so we just make sure that we provide outlets and we provide opportunities for support, whether that be business support or personal support for all of our employees. And so if there are ever dips, they don't last long. And so we've really thrived through this. We've done a wonderful job, and that's a testament to our employees, the passion that they have, the engagement, and their ability to really adapt to what's going on in the world. Okay, I have classes that will stay online, such as math and blueprint, then GD&T will be face-to-face. Talking to industry for students to be able to get jobs. The CAM classes have been face-to-face. And that's fantastic. I think that speaks to that hybrid approach. What are the things that we're doing that are going to remain virtual? What are the opportunities for us to make sure that we're staying safe and healthy? And then figuring out which ones are most valuable to us to be in person. Because there are those opportunities for in-person, face-to-face communication. And there's so much that you get out of that. I miss the fact that I don't get to see your faces. I don't know if you're nodding to me right now or if you've fallen asleep. Hopefully it's the former. But yeah, you do miss out on that body language, on that energy that's in the room. It's tough to really get everything out of that virtual experience that you got from that face-to-face. But again, it's all about focusing on the opportunities, what are the positives from it, and then figuring out which application is best for each event. How do you become a partner? Excellent question, and I love to hear that. We love to welcome as many people as we can to the community, because again, that's our strength. It's the more people that we get involved with Mastercam, the more opportunities we have to solve challenges that shape the world, which is fantastic. So please reach out to us. I'm going to have our team put an email in the chat so that you guys have an email that you can connect with if you're interested in becoming a partner. Okay, and I think we're going to do one more question. All right, do you plan to make material for virtual exhibitions and virtual trade shows? Absolutely. We have to adapt. We have to understand that, we want to be where our customers are. And there's a lot of our customers that just aren't comfortable traveling. They're not going to be comfortable getting together in a large trade show again. And so we need to make sure that we're showing up for all of you, whether that's in person or online. So yes, we are already working on creating virtual content for trade shows, for exhibitions, and really it's what is it that you guys are looking for? And we value that feedback. So let us know what that is. What kind of information do you want from us? What kind of content do you want from us? How can we make your life easier? That's what we're here to do. How can we improve the relationship, and how can we make sure that you guys still feel like part of the family? Because that's exactly what we consider you. Okay. Oh, we've got one more question. Okay. As an instructor, it is always refreshing to see more women get involved in an industry that has historically been dominated by men. What is your perspective on the issue? I love this comment. Obviously, it's near and dear to my heart, and I've spent a lot of time speaking with young women and getting an opportunity to just expose them to manufacturing. I think part of it is that they don't even consider it an opportunity for them. It's not something that they connected with at a young age. It's not something they had a good understanding about. I think I actually had a quote in a magazine just recently, and it was that we belong here. Women don't just have a right, we have a responsibility to be in manufacturing, because manufacturing shapes the world. The innovation, the creativity, the technological progress that allows us to solve the world's challenges, it is a requirement that we have women's perspective in those challenges and in that progress. And so I'd like to tell women, just remember, you belong here. You absolutely belong here. And I have been so fortunate to be connected with people that never pushed back. They accepted my presence in this industry. And we're at an intersection of both software and manufacturing, both predominantly male industries. And I have had such a wonderful experience and such a warm welcome to both that I would just say, take advantage of that. Find your opportunities and remember that you belong here. So thank you all so much. I hope that this was valuable for you. I hope that you had a good opportunity to feel connected and part of the Mastercam family. We miss you all. We genuinely miss being able to see your faces, miss being able to show up in the shops, miss being able to see you at those trade shows. But for now, this is how we're going to continue to connect. But please reach out, join social media, get on the forums, continue to give us that input and feedback on how to make our product better, because that's what we're here to do. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.